Emotional scenes today in the Camp Nou press room as Andres Iniesta makes the official announcement that he's leaving Barcelona at the end of the season. Welcome to the locker room. Once we stop blubbing and gushing about Iniesta, we have some meaty topics to discuss on the show. Coming up, we'll ask if Zinedine Zidane deserves more praise for his achievements as a coach. Look out Liverpool, Raja Nainggolan has warned that lightning can strike twice, and we will not be welcoming Russia to Zlatan because the big man won't be at the World Cup. We'll discuss that and much more. That's Ray, Christian, Thomas and Gary. Andres Iniesta wasn't the only one in tears as he confirmed his Barcelona exit at the end of the season today. So the panel's going to pay tribute tonight by discussing their favourite moments from one of the greatest midfielders to ever grace the game. And Christian Vieri was cagey about his favourite moment. What's your favourite Iniesta? What's your favourite Iniesta moment?
I'm not going to choose one moment because it's not enough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 16 years of first team Barcelona. Every day, every Sunday, every training, seeing him. That's the best thing that a soccer fan can have. Having watched Iniesta for the last 15 years.
Gary?
Well, I would say that the pinnacle of any player's career, a great player like Iniesta, is winning a World Cup, which he did. So for me, and I hear what you say, it is every week as well, but I was there at the World Cup 2010 in South Africa, in Johannesburg, and he had a great game, gave your country a bit of a run around there, and he scored the winning goal. Add everything else what Christian's talked about, and on the top of the pile sits winning the World Cup and you scoring the goal. Brilliant.
And after he scored that goal, Ray, he did something very special too.
Yeah, the Danny Hargreaves tribute was typical Iniesta. This is a player, even though he won, 34 trophies, you cannot put... This isn't about statistics or anything for anybody. This was an artisan. This wasn't a paint-by-numbers player. This was a Van Gogh, a Picasso. This man was decorated all of our lives. Every game that he played, and he's doing it the right way. You know, there's other great midfield players in the world, Kay, but you know, my friend said to us tonight, Jeff, on the drive down, he says, yeah, you know, these great players all around the world that we've ever seen, they're damn good. They ain't an Iniesta. The midfield for Barcelona will never ever be the same. He played a part in the greatest football team I've ever seen, and he's part of the reason he ruined the game for me, because after watching him and Xavi and Busquets, they cannot be any better.
Perfect fit at Barcelona.
Talking about perfect, the finest midfielder maybe ever. I mean, a creative inspiration, will never be replaced, you know, and he's played on some of the greatest teams that might have been lost in the shuffle, you know, with Barcelona, but maybe a quick story. Johan Cruyff told me once he was in the locker room with Pep Guardiola in Pep's first year. After 3 weeks, they tied at home and not won. And Pep Guardiola was trying to convince Cruyff that he wanted to change tactics. Knock on the door. Here he is. Mister. Yeah? Please, do not change anything. We are playing effing great. And Guardiola and Cruyff both went, he's right. Let's not stay the course. And that was brilliant about a man that we don't talk about being an inspiration to coaches. Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant stuff, and we wish him well in the next stage of his career as you just take a look at his numbers.
I'm happy, you know why? Because 7-8 years ago, when I was in Milan, and I knew this was going to happen, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to catch a flight, go to Barcelona. I used to go once a month. I'm going to go watch this team play. And I played with all the biggest players in the world. But I wanted to go watch this team because this team was special. Yeah. And I'm happy with myself because I got the plane, got the ticket, would go see the game, and I saw with my own eyes for 3-4 years. Yeah. I saw them playing, and they were just out of control.
Phenomenal
Good stuff,
stuff.
Bobo.
Okay, let's get to some of the juicy topics then. Following on from Real Madrid's away win over Bayern this week, the New York Times soccer writer Rory Smith wrote an article about the team's manager, Zinedine Zidane. The title of the article was, Zinedine Zidane has the wins at Real Madrid. Where is the praise? It is a fair question. Why has the praise eluded Zinedine Zidane?
From not here. Not from here. Because anybody that's watching has watched this show ever since he got appointed. I have defended him against the round table of critics, cynics, doubting Thomases, not Thomas, but people who doubted him, questioned him, and failed to see past the immediate, the one or two little bumps in the road. Zidane is the personification of everything that is great about Real Madrid and everything that is great about coaching. He handles, he manages. He is a great tactician because he knows his players. Bobo.
I just texted him last night and I showed Thomas what I texted him. I don't know, listen, there's people in the world that know about football and there's people that don't know. 95%, I'm sorry, 99%, 95 was just not enough. 99% people don't know what they're talking about. They've never played the game, they've never seen. How can you say if he's good or not if 95% of the people haven't even seen one training session of his? They don't know nothing. They're just talking like everyone. At the press, everyone's talking. What he's done the last 2.5 years, 3 years, no coach has done. No coach has done. He just won a game against one of the biggest teams in the world. Won over there, 2-1. Maybe they didn't play.
And this is what you texted him, right? You're the greatest.
No, I seen a photo of me and him.
And for me, Gary,
together.
it's not even as much with the Champions League. You know, for me, it's a knockout competition. But he gets his players, he massages his players, he keeps them right for the big games.
Yeah,
Plus, he won La Liga in style last year. Let's not forget
I hear
that.
all of that, and I agree. He has done fantastic. But if you're going to say, is he as good as Alex Ferguson? Is he as good as Mourinho and what they've achieved? I still have question marks because European Champions League, great. Currently, 15 points behind Barcelona. Not 1 or 2.
It's his first job as well.
Points behind Barcelona. Secondly, knocked out of the Copa del Rey by Leganés. These are all
They
cups
didn't
achieved.
need it, though.
But you have to win cup. We're saying Barcelona aren't good because they haven't won all 3. They've only won the double. Now, both League and Cup, Real Madrid have had a bad season. European Champions League, even then, Juventus at home losing 3-0. If they don't get their penalty in the last moment, we say it's one of the worst defeats ever at home in the Bernabeu. So, yes, great. But I'm still sitting there going, is he great enough to be alongside Sir Alex Ferguson?
He's beyond
Not yet.
great,
He's
Gary.
better than all of
You
them.
think he's better than Sir Alex Ferguson?
How many? Listen, Gary. In England, there's only one team when Ferguson was there. Man United, 10-0 against everyone. Okay. How many Champions League did he win, Ferguson?
He won 2.
Okay.
Lost 2.
He's won 2 in 3 years.
Yeah.
And maybe if they win next week, it's going to be 3 finals in a row. Mourinho the same. He's won 2 Champions League. He's won 2. So
Yeah, but he hasn't built a team.
It is.
He was inherited the team.
So Guardiola inherited the team. He didn't.
Mourinho built teams. Ferguson built teams.
So
They
by
started
that
from
token,
scratch.
you could say Ferguson
Ferguson
was one of the luckiest men in the world to get that golden generation. He didn't need to
He
build a
built that.
team.
He found those
Yeah, but it
players.
took him 10-15 years to win back.
Listen, again, a few stats, but more so about, there's a word called tips for players, all right? Talent. He has talent as a player and as a coach. Intelligence. He is intelligent because tactically he makes all the right decisions. Personality. He has great personality because you know what? He managed a group with big personalities. And he's still bigger than those. He could tell Ronaldo, come off, and he accepts it. He had a blueprint. He stayed with it. He communicated it to his players, which is not easy, believe me. And he's Mr. Perfect. He's beyond great right now.
he's better than
Bayern
Ferguson.
had not lost one
He's
game
better
with
than
all
Ferguson.
competitions
It's
at
fair
home.
to compare him
And I
with
think
Ferguson. It's a few years
But,
in the job as a coach.
everyone's saying he's better than
But you
Ferguson.
brought
I'm
up
saying not
Ferguson's
for me.
name.
Different
What
generation.
about the other
Once
coaches now, like Pep Guardiola and the praise he gets, Jurgen Klopp, even Conte, Allegri? What about
So,
these
okay,
coaches?
let's just compare him with Pep. Pep's won trophies at league championships at different clubs.
And 2 Champions Leagues,
Yeah.
as has Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah. So I would say Pep has been tested more
He's coached-
than...
listen, he's coached
Listen,
by Munich.
I've said this
on,
before.
Manchester City, he's
we are
improved.
living right now at this moment in this part of time in the era of Zidane. It's the era of Zidane. Like Guardiola was the era of for Barcelona. So Alex, Gary's making good points. In that era, it was Manchester United, in England in particular, and with the Champions Leagues. But for this man is the embodiment of everything Real Madrid. I hope he never takes another job. He certainly doesn't need the challenges or the money because he's climbed every mountain. He's the perfect hand-in-glove fit for this club. And I want to give one more man a bit of credit, Florentino Perez. For him to assign Zidane after he didn't do anything with the kids, didn't do anything with the youth team of Real Madrid, he had the faith and total commitment about him, and from day one, he's been just a rousing success, and he is loved.
Every year he wins Champions League.
Correct.
Then he wins in September the European Super Cup, and then the World Cup for the club.
Why and how? You know what? His in-game coaching is absolutely brilliant. Vasquez, Asensio in the last 2 years have been great examples.
Yeah.
They
And
come off the
Kovacic.
men's and they make differences. Asensio again against PSG is 1-1. Asensio comes in, it's 3-1. 2 assists to Ronaldo.
Okay, listen, let me tell you.
Vasquez starts and he's
Yeah,
plays against
all the-
Juve and he gets a
all the
penalty for
little
Rory.
minutia, but I'll tell you,
No, it's
people,
not minutia, right? Give me a reason why he's so successful. Not because of trophies, because he's coaching.
Because it was
his
people like
in-game
you.
coaching.
There was people like you sitting over there, that part of the table for a long time. That when Zidane was
You're
starting to
kidding me.
wobble a bit,
I've been a number one. I've been a number one fan.
Not you.
Oh, okay.
But there was
Okay.
people
All right.
on that side.
Point
and
at me
people
then. If you're
around-
talking about me, point
because,
at me.
but we can't forget that because there were critics, and not just on the table, the fan base
still
out there, the
are.
Look
Madridistas,
at
you
the league.
remember, Kay,
Right.
they were out for him.
No, hang on a second.
And he's
Let's
proved
be
them
straight.
all
Because
wrong.
Look at the league. You're talking about him being a great coach. Where's he been in all the league matches they've lost at home? The Leganés getting knocked out of Copa del Rey. Is he only a manager who's good enough for European Champions
Coaches
League
is
that
about
he
how you
coached?
respond to it as well, Gary.
Well, they
Any
haven't
team can
responded. They're
lose.
15
Any
points
team
behind
can
Barca.
lose.
This year,
But then
He's
I
good in
went
European
on.
Champions
So
League.
you're saying
He's
that
not-
he's
he's not
overrated?
good
Are
in
you
the league.
saying he's
No,
overrated?
No.
So what are you
I'm
saying?
saying he's not as
He
good as
is
Pep or
smart
Jose
enough
because he hasn't done
to
enough.
real-
And he's
to
15,
real-
he's
to-
15 points behind Barcelona.
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't
He
matter?
gave up after
He's
20
right-
games.
he's right.
He
How
said,
do
you
you
know
give
what?
up? How do
He's
you
got
give up?
to
things you
prioritize
used to say,
right now.
Gary.
The league
No
is
good
important.
coach.
That's
No
smart
After the
coaching.
first
No
year,
good
after
coach
the first
gives
year
up
we
the
watched
lead.
No, he's not a good
Zidane,
coach. He's a
after
great
the
coach.
first year, you said, let's see how it is over time.
Yeah.
3 years later, he's winning La Liga, he's winning Champions League. How much more do you need?
He's 15
because
points
he loses
behind
against
in-
Leganés.
I think the biggest example is,
15
guys,
points
that he
behind.
has, as Bobo said, he has got big cojones.
That I
Because you know
agree,
what?
that I
He
agree.
takes Isco out, who right now is the best player for the Spanish national team, in front of their fans. And that's one of the reasons why he probably gets criticized. He says, you know what? Isco here, Asensio in, we're going to win. That's ballsy.
That's
He takes everyone out.
Correct.
Right.
He doesn't
Big
care.
cojones,
The
is what
little
you said.
points.
And he wins.
It's the bigger picture with Zidane, and the big man gets it done.
Okay, we're definitely going to return to this subject. Still to come, the dead with Italia and Allegri's demand for a carefree approach, a World Cup without Zlatan, and Mexico's regional dominance at club level in CONCACAF. Welcome back. Zlatan Ibrahimovic will not be coming out of international retirement to play for Sweden at the 2018 World Cup in Russia. He has said a World Cup without me wouldn't be a World Cup. But there are some sentiments, Thomas, that it is good to not have him in the squad because he is an intimidating presence on the youngsters there.
Thomas, is it?
Thomas, hello?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be the professor. Put your glasses on.
And not
Put your glasses
not
on.
because he
Give me
tries
my
to be an
bag.
intimidating presence. It's just the presence that he has.
So I would love to see him just come off the bench. I'm not so sure he can start, but just to have him. If I was a coach and I had him on my bench, I'd stick with the players who got me there. But if I'm losing 1-0 against who's in his group? Mexico. I'm losing 1-0 against
he's too
Mexico.
big. He's
Chuck
too
him on.
big of a personality.
You ruined the whole team. This team qualified without
Yeah.
you. I like you, bro.
Yeah.
But no one's going to miss him in the World Cup.
You don't think?
You got other big, phenomenal players.
In Sweden, name
I'm
me
not talking
Swedish
about
player.
Sweden. I'm talking
But
about the World
that's the
Cup.
strength.
Yeah, but I'm
The
talking
World
about
Cup.
Sweden.
Sweden, they
before.
qualified without him.
Just.
So, what do you want them to qualify after a month? Of course they're
What I'm
going to do
saying
that.
is
They're
they're
qualified.
playing Mexico to go
Gary,
through.
So-
It's
Gary,
0-0.
Why?
Gary,
No, but
wouldn't
you
you
don't.
throw
You
Zlatan
just
on?
Gary,
throw the young guys, put them in. The guys that are qualified.
There's more important things right now in terms of that. Team chemistry is the utmost. That team without Zlatan is gone there. Sorry to get back to you young because I was thinking I'm getting old. Is you can't do that. You really can't do that. And you say, come on, hey, he's not going to accept sitting on the bench,
No, I don't
believe me.
think if he
And
did.
he's going to take over, and that would be good for Sweden. We'd love to see him, absolutely. Is Boa right? Man,
He's going to be
we
there.
got
We just don't
big
know in
time
what
Yeah,
capacity.
I'll tell
players.
you what,
know
the
he's
Swedish
gonna be
coach
there.
Totally.
might regret not having him there when they
No,
get knocked out
no.
because they
See-
couldn't score a goal,
See,
and that man can come on and
Ferguson
score.
will take him, but Zidane would not take him. That's
you-
why for
are you
Zidane
trying
is
to
the
get
best
us all
coach in the
nervous?
world.
Gary's taking his combative pills today.
Yeah.
Sure.
I got a dinner tonight, nice dinner. You're getting me nervous.
All right.
No, don't get nervous.
It may be an inspiration to Sweden in the most bizarre circumstances, not having him there. In a similar way that the United States didn't take Landon Donovan in that situation, that proved to be a complete backfire on the United States and Landon. But they're two completely different types of personalities. I still don't think he would have been a disruption, but Anderson obviously does, and they did it, like Bobo says, without him. They've got to be respectful about that.
Okay, moving on. One of our most popular stories on beInSports.com this week has Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold revealing that Mo Salah is a nightmare to train against. And Gary, as a goalkeeper, you said he would be an awful man to come up against.
Yeah, he's got something that you very rarely see in football. That's quick feet. Only other guy's got feet as quick as him is Messi. And what happens as a goalkeeper is when they run towards you, you expect the striker to take it with his one foot, set it up, and hit with the others. A goalkeeper gives you time to adjust. With this guy, he's moved it and hit it in one move, and you can't adjust. Messi's the same. He goes from one side, hits it, you can't adjust. Brilliant player to have in your time, but a nightmare for keepers.
Why a nightmare for? What do you mean nightmare?
Because he's so good. So when you come up against
But then you know
him,
what
it's
happens when you
difficult to
play the
play
games.
against
When
him.
you play games, you know, after training you have the half-an-hour games. You mark him. You don't leave him you don't stay 4 meters from him.
I don't think it's
because
nice
if
for
I
them to
stay
mark
4
him.
meters from him, Mrs. K, you know what's going to happen? Or Miss K, Mrs. K. You know what's going to happen? He's going to score. But if you mark him every time he gets the ball, boom, you're on top of him. He's not going to be scoring that much. So guys, strikers need to be marked. If you stay 3 meters behind them, they're always by
Let me
themselves.
tell you how good he is.
I can play today if no one marks me.
Ronaldo, 42 goals in all competition at UCL. Salah, 43, by the way.
So?
More than any other
He's got
EPL.
600
More
goals.
than any other EPL since 83, 84.
If you put Ronaldo in this situation, I'm leaving, eh?
This year's Salah's
I
been
don't care,
brilliant.
but he once scored 650 goals.
I'm
He's been
just
scoring
saying,
like that for
Bobo, this
15
year
years.
has been brilliant. Come
Okay,
on.
but you
year
need to
you're
listen.
absolutely
You
right.
need to mark. You need to mark the strikers. You don't leave them always.
So it's
for
Italian
space.
defenders.
Okay? It's everyone's
it's
defenders.
Roma's the defenders.
Yeah, you gotta mark. Of
Because
course, you gotta mark.
You're Italian defenders.
You gotta mark.
I thought you guys were good at
First
defending.
African
gotta
player
mark.
to
We
play 10
were.
goals, by
English
the way. Hey, you
goalkeepers
mark
are
him, and then I didn't want to say that. You mark him, and then you have Firmino coming in. Whoop.
It is a busy show and run out of time. I really do want to talk about the Serie A title race. It's on fire. Juve are just a point ahead of Napoli, but they have to take on Inter this weekend. And suddenly this week's game is bigger than last week's game, according to you, Christian Vieri.
I thought last week was going to be the biggest game of the year, but I was wrong. Never happens, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the biggest game of the year for Juve. That's what I think. If they don't win tomorrow, I think Napoli is going to win Fiorentina, even if it's going to be very, very hard. If they don't win tomorrow, I think Napoli is going to go on top of them, and Napoli are going to lose the last 3 games. That's what I think.
Allegri said that his side need courage, chutzpah, and carefreeness against Inter.
Great choice of words. Are going to need that and probably more because this Inter team are battling for Europe.
87,000 tomorrow.
So who are you going to pick?
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'm telling you one thing. I don't think Inter's going to lose.
I think Juve win.
Oh, well, we'll see. We'll get predictions at this side.
Correct.
Yeah.
Chiellini is not starting. The right fullback, who we're not talked about a lot, the
Cilio.
who's huge as
Easy
well
for
for
you to
them.
say.
Those are 2 important players, and 2 of the reasons that they didn't do well in their last game when Chiellini had to come off and he didn't start. I'm telling you, they are going to struggle defensively.
We'll
I
see.
still
One
think that.
word, Inter or Juve?
Juve to drop points, Napoli to win it.
Yeah, Napoli, of course.
No.
Napoli's
I'm
gonna
saying
win.
Juve.
Napoli.
Juve.
In the international connection, and more of our predictions too. Stick around.
This segment is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
Seems I just got to leave.
Welcome into our international connection. Chivas won their first ever CONCACAF Champions League after beating Toronto FC 4-2 on penalties, reinforcing the dominance of Liga MX teams in the competition. The MLS side got the win they needed to force spot kicks, but they fell short in the shootout. Toronto, of course, trying to become the first MLS team to win a CONCACAF title since the LA Galaxy in 2000. Yes, Christian Vieri.
I want to say one thing good about MLS. Strange. Toronto
Very strange.
play because It's a horrible league.
Oh, okay.
Toronto play amazing football.
In this game.
This game, but they play always. They always play
they're a
good.
nice team.
To win over there 2-1 in Chivas, very, very, very hard. Very hard to win. In Mexico, it's very hard to win.
That's not where they lost it. They lost it in
penalties.
Toronto. They lost in the first
that's how
leg.
it is, Ray.
Yeah, well,
course.
that's what's cost them in the end.
But I'm
I
just
thought
saying-
they were the better team in the second leg.
But I'm just saying, after a loss at home, going to Mexico,
Oh, it's
and
gonna
it's
be
hard
tricky,
to play
yeah.
in those
But they
stadiums.
stood up. They did well.
They
I
did
thought They were
amazing.
a better team,
They
Thomas.
did amazing.
But they were unlucky.
The Achilles heel Ray's right. They gave him a goal home against Tigres. They were able to come back in Mexico against Tigres. Same thing with Club America. I said, guys, do not give up goals because your luck is going to run out, which is happening at Chivas. They do beat them. And by the way, the exit of Gregory Van der Wiel, all right, center back right now. He's never played center back. Michael Bradley, Giovinco, and Altidore were very good in that day. And PKs, Jesus, by the way, what are you?
close, eh?
Your former teammate, am I correct? Almeida, the coach of
I
Chivas.
texted him yesterday.
Chivas.
I showed you the text message. Do you remember that?
Only Mexican players, by the way. Chivas, which is brilliant too for them, and they're going to represent
The goal to
CONCACAF.
penalty shows that MLS teams
Yes,
getting closer,
Greg.
though.
We get closer and closer.
No.
and
Only
Bobo's
this team.
right.
Only
Okay,
Toronto.
well, that's fine. They're still in
No,
MLS.
about
They're
that.
still in MLS.
Because I don't see other MLS teams playing football. I just seen long balls and karate kicks.
Look at Vieri and NYCFC. Come on. Patrick Vieri, a buddy, man.
Vieira, not Vieira. There's only one Vieira in the world. That's
Yeah, that's you. Exactly.
That's Vieira.
Yeah, Viera also.
Okay.
Make sure you stick around with us this weekend on beIN Sports. We do have that big game between Inter and Juve, the Derby d'Italia. We've got Fiorentina against Napoli. Napoli needing another win to keep that title in their sights. And we have Depor against Barcelona. Barca needing just a point to win the league. Quick prediction, can Depor upset the party? Oh, nah.
No.
Who cares?
No.
But it's a double.
Who cares?
I don't even care about a double. I do
who
not
wants to
care
watch
about
this
a double.
game?
It's Barcelona. It's the best team in Spain by 15 points. And no one's giving them any credit.
I got to agree with Gary as well. Over 38 games, you know, the season,
cares?
the EPL. You know, it's pretty darn good.
10 seconds.
They relegated. It's a proud club. It'll be packed in. They're going to paint Barcelona.
You never
They're going
know.
to have
It's
to
a
earn
useless
it.
game. Useless
They have to
game.
earn it. I'm telling you, they're going to earn it.
Iniesta with the winner, please.
Yeah, that would be good.